All right, welcome everybody to another vintage Lotus box Octagon. If you're new to this kind of event, Team Lotus Box has been running 8-player single elimination tournaments, $20 entry fee. Winner gets $100 and re-entry, and second place gets either $20 or re-entry. So this is going to be the fourth Lotus Box Octagon, and hopefully we'll continue to do these every week or so. So far, I have won 2 of these events, and I have gotten only through 1 round last time. So I won the first 2, and then last time we got knocked out by a really sweet Bant Ephemerate deck. So this is just my typical 2019 Esper PO list. It's probably exactly the same as the last PO list I streamed, because I'm looking at Swords of Plowshares and Balance, which were for the Bant mid-range deck. So I don't think I've changed this list. I really just haven't had a lot of time to play Vintage recently with the upcoming Mox event. So I've been currently just playing Modern and playing Vintage Cube. So I do think that PO is not in a terrible place right now. I think you can play it. I don't think it's a good choice. I think you should be playing something like Breach or Bug, probably if you really want to win. But I would rather play PO than those kind of things. I don't know if this is the exact configuration that I will run tomorrow in the Vintage Showcase, but I suspect it will be fairly similar to that. So for this tournament, we have 7 other players, and I kind of had an idea that we would be fairly reasonably creature and reasonably blue heavy. So I was going to keep my Swords to Plowshare balance decks. Here are the 7 other players. We've got Slasher has got a what's this called? This is called a mono white Eldrazi list with Leyline in the main. Eric is playing his traditional Doomsday list. Joker actually ended up going on Brain Freeze Underworld Breach combo, which was surprising. Jordan has an aggro shop. Oh, it's a Cart Clan Ironworks deck. Wow, that's really cool. Looks like a humans deck from Gavin, another breach deck from Dinglis, which makes sense, and then Bug from Lucas, which this all pretty much makes sense to me. I actually think our deck is pretty reasonably situated in this field. Obviously, we don't want to play against the 2 Pyroblast decks, which are the 2 breach decks. But I think with main deck Swords of Plowshares and Balance, we might have a decent shot against these kind of aggro decks and more creature-based decks. So I actually don't think that I don't think our deck choice ended up being quite poor against the metagame. I think we actually have a pretty reasonable shot, and we definitely can beat every one of the decks in the field. So I'm pretty happy, actually. We might have a good shot here. I am a little weak to Archon, but I have built my deck in a way where I am mitigating things like that. And I am just like a really fast deck, right? I can do some really powerful things really early. So play draw is pretty dependent in our matchup, Slasher. I don't think I'm like favored by any means, but I do think I've constructed my deck in a way that I can beat you, which is good. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like, I'm not going to wish upon a star to get our matchup by any means. Here we are, chat. This is going to be round 1, I guess, the top 8 of the 8-player event. This is a Team Lotus Box Octagon, single elimination. We are once again versus Goggles in round 1. Like I said last time, Goggles is a pretty powerful magician. Definitely not opponent you want to face early in a tournament. This time, Goggles is not on Urza. They are on a pretty stock bug list. Looks pretty strong. Double Collector Roof was annoying for us, as is 2 Flusterstorms. Looks like they're choosing to use a bunch of decays instead of a bunch of Assassin's Trophies. 1 negation and 1 vigor in the main deck is going to keep us on our toes. And then sideboard, they have another vigor, but it doesn't look too bad. Definitely a playable matchup, especially seeing as we've chosen a pretty removal-heavy version of PO with the main deck Swords to Plowshares and the main deck Balance. So let's see what we got. Opening draw says, oh man, I really dislike these kind of hands, as it doesn't really push for, you know, what is powerful in PO. But I don't think this hand is mulliganable. We're definitely going to lead with like an island ponder, and then next turn we have the ability to brainstorm and fetch. So like it's definitely a good hand, but I don't think it like really showcases what's the reasons you play PO, which I think is a little disappointing from a starting hand, but it is what it is. So here, if I keep this, I am going to be forced to draw all 3 of these cards off of the Brainstorm unless I were to fetch and then Brainstorm again later. I do think I want an Emerald, but I'm not super into the idea of the extra land. We could take the Force and the Emerald and then fetch away the land. I guess it depends, because we have to have 2 basic islands in this deck. Maybe we are just supposed to keep all of these cards and just Brainstorm next turn. I think that maybe that's fine. If I take this Force of Will, what is this really doing for me? I'm not sure. I think this is not things we're gonna shuffle back, but I don't feel super happy about it. We might choose to not Brainstorm right away. We might choose to like play land Mox and then maybe repeal their first card. Maybe we even just like repeal a Deathrite Shaman as a time walk, but it all kind of depends. Like if they were to play a Collector Oof here, I'm pretty sure I'm priced into just force pitching repeal. I'm just currently I'm really lacking a game plan. I have powerful blue cards, but I don't have Tinker, I don't have PO, I don't have an artifact base. So I think there's like some value here in just going I think this drawing the second fetch land is actually fine. I think I'm going to actually repeal the is drawing the second fetch land fine? I might just fetch another basic island and then repeal the Deathrite Shaman. I don't think I actually kind of like that. The Brainstorm here is not going to give me much value anyways. I am just worried about the power level of our plays. Basically, this is my huge issue. Opponent could actually have a negation for my repeal, but that would be fine. It's a 2-for-1 on my repeal. I don't really care. Obviously, this makes it so I'm not like repealing an oof on their turn, but I think with the way their hand is set up, I don't think that's a huge issue. And it's more likely opponent's going to play like a 3-drop and I won't be able to repeal it anyways. It's an interesting draw. I don't typically like Narset in this matchup. My opponent typically doesn't draw as many cards as like a Xerox Shell, and they also have a lot of attacking creatures, which makes Narset not super strong. In this case, I would even consider pitching it to Force, depending on what card is played here. Oof representing Flusterstorm. It's certainly an issue. I mean, I don't think I'm at liberty to let this resolve. So if opponent has Flusterstorm plus Force of Will, we're in deep trouble here. Yeah. I could have pretty easily played around this by not repealing. And that is certainly one of the downsides. If I force this, I am left with nothing, which is pretty useless, but I don't think I'm allowed to let it resolve, so I do wish I had not repealed at this point. Oh, they just have Force of Will back. Okay, well, I have nothing. They have nothing. They have a Deathrite and a Collector Oof, and we have a Mox Opal that's dead. I'm pretty far away from ever drawing anything that really matters here, too, which is an issue. Not a bad draw. Even if I draw Swords or Balance is pretty good. But we do have islands, so that's a good start. We have some time, and we have high-level top decks. PO isn't an unreasonable top deck either. I do think we want to play these out now as a way to play around. I mean, we can't play around Flusterstorm no matter what. So maybe we shouldn't play it out so we don't get hard cast negate Force of Vigored. Kind of hard to say. Because we can't play around Fluster, maybe we are supposed to keep both of those in our hand. That kind of is something I didn't think about when I played them. We are running out of time fairly fast here. Unfortunate. Yeah, I'm not seeing a very strong path to victory here. If we draw a balance, we're going to be at 3. We'll be at 2, actually. If we draw a balance exactly this turn and it resolves. I don't like how I played this game, but I don't really think it would have changed anything if I had played it differently. Yeah, so balance is insane here. And it is one of the reasons that I have it in the main deck right now. For decks like Bug and Eldrazi. Yeah, balance. No. I mean, turn 2 Collector Roof with Fluster Force backup is pretty strong against our deck. That's definitely true. So we're on 2 Oko, a Brazen Borrower. I'm not even sure Blightsteel is at its best here. Opponent is pretty geared for that. We're definitely going to bring in Deluge, Swords to Plowshares, Arrakis, and maybe Blightsteel. And then I think Narset is quite poor. Hurkyl's Recall, quite poor. I don't hate Mystical, but it's not fantastic. I think I might just choose not to be Blightstealing. Opponent plays Lavinia, and you also just want to have more lands in your deck. So I might just go like down an Opal here. I think this looks pretty reasonable. We did have ways to play that game, but we just didn't really have much agency because of the repeal play. I don't think the repeal play was inherently bad, and we definitely needed to find action, but yeah. What are you saying, Wombo? Leovold is for Caracas. Or sorry, Crocus is for Leovold, and also because you want to have more lands in your deck. Did I say Lavinia by accident? Sorry. I meant Leovold. So the reason I'm like trying to figure out if I want this Blightsteel or not is because opponent is playing like the max number of answers in Bug to Blightsteel. They're playing 2 Oko and a Brazen Borrower. Which is like basically, I think you could play maybe 3 Oko, but it's pretty close. It's tough to say. Typically, I leave in both targets. I'm just not sure what the other card I'm taking out is. Maybe it's just like a top. It's not unreasonable. Just like going down a little bit on things that collect Collector Roof. I like this. This is a configuration that's pretty... This is very similar to what I normally board against Bug. It's just a little like... If I didn't know my opponent's deck list, I would like always be slamming Bug as a 2... slamming Blightsteel as a 2 of Tinker target. But because I know my opponent's deck list, it makes me a little hesitant. I do think it's correct, though. This hand is quite good. It is a little it can be abused though. There's definitely issues with this hand, but you can't ever mulligan it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lead with Pearl Academy Time Walk to give us an opportunity to draw another Moxen so that I can like actually utilize my Academy. I also want to try to cast as many spells as I can before my Academy gets wastelanded. I'm looking for a Moxen or a land there. I didn't get it. I'm very much priced into running into their 1 of Force of Negation here. I don't think you have a choice. We did draw a Moxen, but if we get wastelanded, we probably lose this game. It's really unfortunate. I guess I could have held this Jet for the 1 of the 2 of Vigor, but I'm not thrilled with that idea. Another Sapphire draw from Bug, and they have the Strip Mine. So this game's going to be quite hard unless we draw top like deck lands. I don't care about Cage. It's just going to stop Tinker. We did draw top deck land, which is fantastic. It is not an island or a fetch land, which would have been the best draws. But at the very least, we do get to cast Merchant Scroll here. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get Force of Will. I wonder if I should be getting a draw spell. I can't imagine we should. I don't think that's the case. I think we just want to bank on land our Moxen mana and then just go for POs from there. I think I just want to get a Force of Will. We're in pretty good shape now if we don't get wastelanded because we have a good mana base. We're very close to having a good PO. We have multiple removal spells. This is fine. I do think I'm going to Swords this. I think it's just a good use of my mana. It's not the most like relevant threat, but look at that. We just got a Flusterstorm off of it. So pretty big win for us. If we do draw the ability to PO this turn, we're just going to snap it off. We did not draw the ability to PO this turn. I think if my opponent's willing to Flusterstorm a Swords, I'm definitely willing to Swords it again. I probably should have done that off of Tundra. That was a little bit of a mistake. I should play a little slower. I think I'm just like very adrenaline right now from just like other things. I should definitely try to play slower, especially if I stream tomorrow. Like this is like 2 cages is so many. I understand why Bug brings in cage versus PO, but I would just bring in 1 as like a DT target. I think 2 is strong overvalue. I drew another Force. Oh man, by the time I finally draw the mana to cast PO, my opponent's gonna have Wasteland. I do think the first thing I'm doing is force pitching PO on this Leovold. I think we win this game if we draw an Opal. Not a bad draw. All right, what do we see? Sapphire is perfect. We actually can just go probe first. There's almost no way that should back. Like they should. I guess they could have misstep. I kind of want to leave probe on top for a force. No, I'm almost never going to draw probe for a force. I actually think I'm not going to draw the probe. Because in case they have like misstep or something. What I really don't want to do is I don't want to see a wasteland is basically it. Another Leovold, an Oko. I actually have to force this because I don't know if they would actually Elk and Moxen, but it's really bad if they do. I do think that I'm going to force it pitching force though. So if my opponent does end this with negation, we are going to lose this. They can draw mental misstep though. Okay, they could have Flusterstorm here, but I don't care. I'm going to definitely look for my opportunity to win the game. All right. And we drew the other PO as well. That Tinker is stopped. We need to make sure that we... They did have negation. Wow. They just didn't have the other blue card. That's crazy. We don't have enough to replay this top, which is unfortunate. However, we do have enough to just PO again. We did board 1 Opal out, but if we draw another Opal, we get to go again. We just draw an Emerald, so we'll go again. That is all of our POs. This does stop Yogwell as well. Worth noting. We currently can't do very much. We're going to cast Night's Whisper. And we just drew a bunch of lands. So we're going to play a top. And I don't think I'm going to spin right now. Let's take a quick land count. We've got our last island, our last tundra, and there is 1 underground sea. So we're going to get rid of a bunch of these fetch lands, but not all of the fetch lands. I don't think I have many forces left in my deck either. I have 1 force. So a top deck oof from my opponent is pretty unfortunate for us. Though we will have a bunch of lands. I think it's actually reasonable to spin now. We do have a Deluge. Oh, we have a Snapcaster incoming. Okay, that's definitely the best draw we can have. No, we can't Snapcaster because of Cage. So maybe these cages are looking good here. So we actually have not much going on. So we're just going to draw the Deluge in case they draw an Oof, and then we'll probably end up fetching away. I do think I have to get rid of one of these fetches because it doesn't get anything. And I think I'm going to get rid of this Tinker because there's really no way for me to deal with these cages. So they drew a Brainstorm, which is a reasonable draw for them. You don't want to cast Citadel into Cage, Wombo. That's not a very strong play either. So this is still okay. We definitely came prepared for this. Probably should have played the Tundra. They hit the Fluster? That's insane. They brainstormed into Oof Fluster? All right. Well, we're 2 draws away from the Snapcaster. We're 2 draws away from the Snapcaster. So the next draw is going to be Negation. So we can definitely just kill this Collector Oof if they attack on our next, not our next draw, but the draw after. That Brainstorm hitting Flusterstorm Oof is insane. I don't think they had any other Flusters, right? They just had 2 Flusters. So that was their second Fluster. Wow. That was really bad for us. I could have waited, but that doesn't actually help me either, so. Okay, so we draw a Mana Vault, I believe, first. And then they draw a Negation, and then we draw a Snapcaster. So we just have to hope that whatever they drew on this next draw is not super destructive. All right, so we're back. Snapcaster, even though there's a Grafdigger's Cade, did some work here. We know opponent has a Negation. We have a bunch of Flusterstorms, but we don't have any action, and we don't have any action coming either. So what I'm going to do is draw this Soul Ring, and then we will spin up for the 3rd card. No, I think we should just fetch. Oh, I guess it doesn't really hurt for us to spin for the 3rd card deep, does it? Take a look. Yogwill, no go. Fetch, our last Underground Sea. We have no more fetchables. Spin. Wow. Oh boy. Gets us 1 card deeper, so. Chat, you guys know how Grafdigger's Cage works, right? Come on now. Oh boy. Yeah, so opponent's top decking. We don't have very much going on. I do think that we should just cast this Brainstorm and get a little deeper. Balance. That's not very good either. Holy moly. I don't think there's like any way we can be balancing at any point here. Just like we have too many lands in play. Maybe we can later in the game. Look one deeper. Demonic Tutor. That's a good one. I'll hold this Caracas. So we should be able, if we don't get anything bad happening to us this turn, like the second Collector Roof, maybe. Time Walk. I don't think I'm allowed to double fluster that. All right, so we draw this DT. I can fluster a hard cast negation. I don't know if I should have played around a pitch cast negation by like... Holy shit. Thank God. That could have gone very poorly. So I'm pretty sure... Oh, I think Mentor is the best. I think it's better than Blightsteel. There's no Mindbreak Trap, right? No Mindbreak Trap. These draws are quite poor. But Vamp is okay. There's a bunch of decays, but I still think it's correct to go Mentor. I'm very confident in my choice, so you can discuss in chat if you want, but... Now a question becomes, do I have any other cards in my deck that do anything? I think we just have to get a Blightsteel. The problem is I can't kill this Oko. Come on, chat. You guys know there's two cages. I could put a repeal on top, but I'm not repealing both cages. So I could repeal just to make sure my monks kill this Oko. Or I could just get my top back on top so that I have more agency in finding the next card that matters. I could... Well, repealing the Mentor is not a very strong play because... maybe it's fine. Repealing the Mentor. I need to kill this Oko this turn, though. Put the top back on top. Well, the Vamp is mostly just a monk, right? Oh, do I have lethal? Draw, cast Citadel, 6. They go to 13. Activate? No, it's not lethal yet. Well, wait. Ponder is 3. Sorry, Ponder is 6. Citadel is 7. Opal is 8. That actually might be lethal. Let's try it. Oh, wait, I can't cast the cards, right? Or they get countered. I can't cast them, so it's not lethal. I can't even cast them. So I have to kill this Oko again, unfortunately. I can spin again. They have a push in their deck? No. Oh, wow. Okay. Sure. That ends up working out better for us, I think. No. I do think I just take the Citadel, right? It's gonna make the clock really fast. I should save it for next turn, though. This, like this. I should just save this for next turn to do more damage. Do I need to kill the Oko? I think so. I mean, if they oof, I can't activate. I mean, I could activate in response, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would have to lose a creature. I don't think it's very good. I think we played it correctly. They also probably don't think we have a Blightsteel. I definitely know that my tutor for mentor line was 100% correct, especially having 2 repeals still in my deck. I think I played that game very well. I think Goggles played well too, yeah. I agree. I feel like I just play so much better when I play PO. Maybe it's because I don't give up. I don't know what the difference is. Do I want Disenchant? I don't think so. It's just so narrow. But those cages were a little annoying. I was pretty close to drawing dead there. I had like 2 cards left in my deck that did anything. I cast, what, 3 of my 4 POs, and my 4th was exiled? It does make me think I may be a little... I did lose a lot of oof by not being able to Yogwill and not being able to Tinker, right? Maybe there's some justification for Disenchant. But I feel like we just have repeals in our deck. It should be good enough. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm gonna resubmit. I have to play a little bit faster this time. Not too much faster, though. I think we still have like 7 minutes. 7 minutes? 7 minutes is fine. This hand's not keepable, unfortunately. It's really sad. This hand's pretty close. 1 fetch land, I would snap this off. But no force. No answer to a collector roof on turn 1. Can't really play the game if they have it. So I think this just has to be a mulligan. This hand is better, but not great. I'm just gonna put this Academy away. This is definitely a Tinker and Pray hand, isn't it? Looks like turn 1. Yeah, that's fine. Don't care. I am going to go to 18. Hmm. Yeah, I think I would have kept this in the play as well. I'm gonna go to 18. Oof. Assassin's Trophy, land. This is a winnable game. This is an absolutely winnable game here. Just need to find an artifact. They drew a fluster. Wow. Hope I do my own fluster correctly here. All right. Fluster targeting the first one. Target the second one. Target the third one. Aim target. F6. Mox. All right. I'm gonna just get a Blight Steal. They have an Assassin's Trophy, so I can't afford to brick. They have 2 draws. Cage. Oh no. Cage. All right. Last draw. Survey says nope. Wow. Ooh, baby. Ooh, that matchup is so tight. It's really close. Drawing to 3 outs, yeah. Drawing to 3 outs. We knew they draw. Ooh, we're back. Here we are, chat, in now the semifinals of this Octagon. It's nice that we've never been out in the first round because we've faced some very, very powerful opponents in the first rounds of these tournaments. Here we're playing against Jalid, Broken Pots, and Jalid is on just a beautiful deck, if I do say so myself. Jalid is on Cart Clan Ironworks, so I want to bring that up for you. Let's see how close it looks to my challenge winning Cart Clan Ironworks deck. It might be the exact list, actually. It does look like it's either the exact list or very close. So this is, if you want to see Cart Clan Ironworks in Vintage, check out my YouTube channel. There's a full challenge all the way to the very end, running this deck, and it's just a really cool deck. It certainly has the power level of a Vintage deck. The problem with this deck is it suffers pretty heavily from graveyard hate and artifact hate, which is not a place you want to be. You don't want to be overlapping between the graveyard and the artifact hate. I don't really think it looks like they made very many adjustments for like things like Leyline of the Void, besides Blightsteel. So, but I don't have a Leyline of the Void, so good for my opponent. Actually, I want that back. Can I get that back? They said in chat, stole your deck. Oh, I love it. All right, what do I have here? So I have 1 Moxen, multiple POs, repeal, and a Swords. I think this is actually a pretty reasonable hand against my opponent's deck. It doesn't battle the like really powerful artifact hands super well, but a lot of the powerful draws involve a Scrap Trawler, which is the Swords is very good against. And then we're already building to a PO, so I think this is good. I'm gonna keep this hand. I think if this hand had a Force of Will instead of a second PO, I think it'd be like a great hand in the matchup. But we'll see what happens here. Just a tropical island to start. Is that a time walk? As an Ichor Wellspring? Sure. Resolves. I love KCI. I want to give KCI another go sometime. Because I think Luris could be playable in the deck, actually. In the main deck. Oh, what the? Black Lotus post main here. Alright. This at least gives us outs to Force of Will, which is nice. Though we are a little behind in this game. We need a little help. Opponent's draw looks to be fairly strong compared to our draw. I do think I have to just let this go. Oh, this is fantastic. Two Roads makes just excellent drinks. Two Roads sponsorship when? That would be dope sponsorship, actually. I keep forgetting to go and look for sponsorships. Stupid partnered streamer, what are you doing? Actually, to pop out the third window here. You guys are going to have no space here. Jeez. All right, Karn. That is atrocious for us. We might lose this game. I need to find a Force of Will off of this spin, or I'm probably losing. Karn is the single worst card that we can ever go up against. It's really, really bad for us. I'm looking for a Force of Will, chap. Our deck is just not equipped to deal with Karn. Found the Force of Will and found a Narset. Wow. Insane. Sometimes you run hot. This is really good for us. Yeah, we were pretty dead there without a force, but we hit it. I think what I'm gonna do is I kind of need to keep drawing cards. I think I'm going to just repeal this Pearl. And I forgot. Yeah, that's fine though. That's fine though. I think this is better. I think just cycling there is fine. And then I get to spin here, and then if I don't like it, I can fetch it away. I found a Mana Crypt. Oh, never mind. So, yeah, hopefully we don't have to fetch away, and we can just fetch these two away and go for Mana Crypt PO next turn, which is probably just as good as anything else we were doing. Let's draw 4. Yeah, I like that a lot. Opponent has opponent could have like top deck a workshop and then do powerful things from there. But I think opponent was banking pretty heavily on Karn resolving, so. Okay, that's a good one. That can find workshop. Narset is actually a really big problem for KCI. It's one of the reasons I really like the Ravager tech that I think, which Zoomer had that? Bullwinkle had gotten at the time. I think Ravager quite good. But the deck has a really hard problem with interaction. Like Collector Roof, Force of Vigor, Narset, those kind of things. It also doesn't interact with me, so that also means that I'm going to fetch away my bad cards that are on the top of my library and just go for a really strong PO for 4. And I think that's better than playing Narset here. Yes, it turned out to be quite a good deal better than playing Narset. They do have Ironwork, so if they had found a workshop, off of that Ancient Stirrings, it could have gotten quite poor. It could have got. It might have gone very badly for us. Thankfully, that did not happen. So, yeah. I don't actually have to time walk this turn. Let's see. I'm gonna time walk this. What were the other cards underneath Mentor? There was a Brainstorm. Yeah, I want that. Oh, I did use the wrong mana, though. I won't be able to cast Swords to Plowshares on their turn if I cast Brainstorm. I guess I don't have to cast Brainstorm right away. Brainstorm. Maybe I was just supposed to take Night's Whisper then? I'm kind of playing fast now because I think this game is over. But I definitely think I could have sequenced that in a more optimal way. But I don't actually think it matters how I sequence it, so I just kind of went through it. Like, opponent's going to cast KCI. If they cast KCI, they can't draw cards. If they cast one of these creatures, I'm going to Swords to Plowshares it. So, basically, no matter what happens, opponent's very dead. Yeah, that was all hinging on my my crack spin, find a force of will, which is not a place you want to be, but you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, what is? I mean, I think opponent has to choose. Sure. Swords this. Go to my next turn. I draw with top in my upkeep. And then I activate my Narset. And then we brainstorm. So draw. Narset. Yeah, I mean, all of these, all roads lead to Rome here. Yeah. Okay, so post board, my opponent is going to probably choose to board into Sphere of Resistances, I would think. I think that's very likely. We are going to go Hercules We have a Disenchant in our deck. Man, great job, Justin. Excellent deck build. Excuse me. I do think it's actually correct to have another Swords. Blightsteel is obviously a good choice. I think Camball's a great choice. I don't know if Toxic Deluge is needed. I'm going to actually err on the side that it's probably not very good. Caracas is not needed. They don't have any wastelands. So we're going to board these 7 in. And then what are we going to board out? I actually think this is a perfectly fine matchup to be boarding Bolas Citadel out. I don't want to board out Mental Misstep, though, because I think it's actually quite good at countering top star stirrings. So I get to keep that one in. So instead, this is really weird because it goes against all of like the normal shops heuristics for sideboarding. Like sideboarding against shops, you want to board out like your draw spells, and you want to board out your misstep and your probe and that kind of stuff. I think in this case we still do want to board out the probe, but a lot of these sideboarding things that you would normally say are true for shops are just not true here. Like, I don't think you're supposed to board out Narset here. I think it's quite good. I think you can go 1 Night's Whisper down, and then 1 Island down. So, if you've watched my stream for PO before, you'll know that I tell you that PO does not need 13 lands to operate. The reason PO plays 13 lands is because Wasteland decks exist in the format. If Wasteland is not a deck you're facing, a lot of the time you can be boarding out a land. And because I play 2 islands, I highly recommend boarding out an island against things like, well, sometimes Dredge, but not always. It kind of depends. But things like Jeskai and those kind of decks. I actually think we have a really, really strong sideboard against this deck because not only do we get to bring in our artifact hate, but we also get to bring in some of our combo hate, which makes us in a really good position. Actually, we forgot. We also have Soul Guide Lanterns. Now, depending on how much of the combo they board out, I don't know how good those will be, but I think we should probably board them in here. So I'm going to board out another Night's Whisper and a Repeal. I kind of forgot about that, but this also is quite good against our opponent, I believe. Yeah, cool. Do I have paper power? Yes, I do own a set of power. I was hoping to play Eternal Weekend Japan this year for the first time, but it did not happen. This hand's good. Keep it. Hell yeah, Mir. Let's road trip it. I miss Japan. Japan was one of my favorite, actually probably my favorite journey trip. Adventure, travel, probably. Don't tell Raphael though. Okay, workshop sphere, a very strong start. So this is a cool thing that my KCI build can do. Can I get some I'm actually Aya in the chat? um, one of the cool things that this KCI build that we have put together here can do is you post board, you can switch into more of an aggro shops plan. Definitely just want to deploy my fast mana right now. I haven't gotten to use that one very much, but I really like it. I think Kim did a great job. If anyone needs emotes or pixel art commissions, Kim is actually looking for commissions right now. She could use some extra emote artist. Kim could use some extra commissions right now. So if you are in the need for things like emotes or pixel art commissions, definitely check out the link provided in chat. 6 mana. Is this a big stone coil? I would think so. Oh, it's a cart clan. Sure. You can combo through sphere or eat sphere as well. So the sphere is not super problematic for your KCI deck to combo through. Yeah. Yeah, that works. Did they eat the opal? Okay, yeah, they ate the opal. Currently, we're not doing a whole lot of anything right now, but it's not a huge deal. Opponent does have a very solid draw, double workshop. We have a very reactive hand, but we had to deploy this Ruby so we could start casting spells. They found a star. Open this back up so we have some consistency here. They found a star. They're just going to cast this star. And then it's going to be our turn. I don't think they're going to eat the star unless they have another star to play. We drew a Lotus. Very interesting. Very interesting. We're definitely going to play a Lotus. I don't think there's any reason to cast these spells now. I think it's very likely that I will be ancestraling, but I don't think there's any reason to do anything on my turn here. See what opponent decides to do. Yes. Okay, so I'm glad I did not cast Ancestral because I definitely want to hit that Scrap Trawler with a Swords to Plowshares. So the problem with Swords to Plowshares is they are going to eat it and get back both of their things, but I mean, I don't think we have a choice, right? I think we have to do that. I could bounce everything in response. Then they just have so much mana, they probably just replay everything. I think that making them lose their Scrap Trawler now is correct. They have so much mana, though. Maybe it's not very good. I kind of wish we had that Soul Guide Lanterns that we were talking about. I think at the end of this turn, I'm going to cast Hercule's Recall, targeting them. Hopefully we don't die before then. But I want to give ourselves an opportunity to just draw a bunch of cards and do something powerful. Did I board out Citadel? Good. Oh, I did. I wish I had not boarded out Citadel. That kind of seems like a mistake now. I wish I had not boarded out Citadel, but oh well. We still have like PO kills, so it's not the end of the world. Oh, that's so bad for me. They hit a second sphere. So there will be no Hercules recalling at the end of turn here if they go for second sphere. I'm not gonna... Ooh, I guess I could technically... No. Oh, God. Really? Fuck. That's such a good hit. I guess we're getting wrecked by just not having a force, right? Or maybe we should have cast Ancestral earlier? I don't know. A double workshop draw, we're really just getting steamrolled by. Maybe I have to just cast Ancestral here and try to draw Force of Will. Because if I bounce everything, they can just... Seems quite hard for us to win. I don't know. If we bounce everything... The problem is bouncing everything is not very good. Obviously, it slows them down, but we still have to beat an active Karn. And they have Lattice. Though we could beat Lattice... we don't actually beat Lattice with Snapcaster. Though we have Hercules Recall, so if they go for a Lattice, we could Hercules Recall. But the problem is we can't Hercules Recall because we're going to have all of our mana locked down. So I don't think we're allowed to bounce here. I think we have to Ancestral and hope for Force of Will. I think it's a better call. It also does let us, draw into a land and bounce later. The question is, I'm going to crack the Lotus. The question is, was I going to go for Hercules Recall or was I going to go for Ancestral? And I think Ancestral is slightly better. Because I just don't think the Hercules Recall is very good. Yeah, it's really bad for us. They could even eat their own Ironworks and play another Sphere if they wanted to. So what can I do? Not much of anything. I guess technically, if we draw a land drop and they go for a Lattice, we did not hit a land drop. Yeah, I think that was probably our best way to win is if they had gone for a Lattice and we had hit a land drop and Hercules them. Probably the best way we could have won that game. All right, we're dead here. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate because I think our hand was fine, but we got really shown up by that Sphere. I don't actually think we want the Citadel now that I think about it a little bit more. Being on the draw is quite powerful. Or being on the play is quite powerful. Being on the draw is a little unfortunate there. We definitely would have won the game on the play. I don't think it's very close. We would have turn 1 tinkered them. That might not be true. But it was pretty close to being a turn. Maybe it's a turn 2 tinker or something. So just being on the draw against a workshop deck, that's of course something to keep in mind. All right, now we're on the play. Opponent doesn't have Mindbreak traps, so we just have to find a powerful hand. And... I'm not allowed to mulligan this hand, I don't believe. Maybe I am? It's really rough. It's really hard to say that I should mulligan this hand. But doesn't do powerful thing on turn 1. Boarding out a land versus the Spheres is still fine, I think. Especially on the play. It's more the combination of Sphere and Wasteland that makes you need to play 13 lands. You can definitely play 12 and be fine against just Spheres. It's like you saw how much mana I had there. The only reason I could not Hercules Recall, which is the key, you just need to cast Hercules Recall. The only reason I could not cast Hercules Recall is because of the Karn. The Karn was the real problem, not the Spheres. I'm just going to be really sad if I keep this hand and then they just cast turn 1 Sphere. I think I'm going to mulligan this hand and just look for something stronger. Is this stronger? Oh, it doesn't really feel like it's stronger. I'm going to put this back again. I'm just looking for a Tinker hand or an Ancestral hand or something like that. Man, these hands suck. This is turn 1 Narset, right? So I can go turn 1 Narset here. Pearl, top, Vamp for Lotus, hop into Lotus, Narset. I could also just go... Is that good enough? Really only good if they go for a KCI plan. It might just not be good enough. Lose my top. I leave with Underground Sea, Pearl, Narset, and double activation. Pretty good. I don't think it's good enough. So we're going to 4. How much better can our 4 be? It can be very good. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm not happy, but I think it's correct. The 7 is I don't fault anyone for keeping the 7. I just think on the play, when you know your opponent has no Mind Break Trap, it's just you can do so much better. And I think with the London Mulligan, you should be trying to do so much better. Like, obviously, it didn't pan out for us here, but I mean that is how it is how it works sometimes. I could easily see keeping the 7, but there's just some serious problems with keeping the 7. They're gonna stirrings. Pretty good. No twister. Nope. Not even sure what we can get. I'm probably just looking to hit like land drop, demonic, ancestral, probably, or just demonic tinker. So now I'm wishing that we had Citadel in our deck again. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to keep both targets in, or maybe I'm not even supposed to have Blightsteel. Maybe it's just supposed to be Tinker or Citadel. Hmm. So the worst thing that can happen is probably this finds a workshop and they go workshop sphere or workshop creature. They found a Karn again. They found this Karn in all the games. This Karn is like so bad for me, and they just keep finding it. Fetch land. Okay. That's really good for us. So we have tons of options here. We have Ancestral off our Demonic. We could maybe find a Tinker off of this Narset. I think no matter what, we should just start with Narset, because it's going to give us more information for this Demonic. Looking for a Tinker. Opponent has no interaction, actual 0 interaction. So I have the power of the London Mulligan, and I'm a Tinker deck. I'm liable to be looking for an extremely powerful turn 1 play. It didn't end up working out, and we kept a reasonable turn 1 play, but any hand that has like Moxen Tinker, Moxen Tinker, or Moxen Pio, like there's so many hands in Pio that do that. It's like, look, found a Tinker, boom. I'm just putting a Blightsteel in play and making them answer. I don't know how they answer, but their own Blightsteel? I think their only answer is their own Blightsteel. Or like blocking for long enough. Robots, baby. So they can have their own Tinker for Blightsteel here. That is technically an out. But I don't know. Like, this game worked out kind of how I thought it may. So I'm pretty happy about it. This is so scary, though. Every time I see them reveal Karn, I just... Ugh. Yeah. I do have outs to a Blightsteel. I can draw land or Moxen and go Demonic Swords. Yes, open decklist tournament. Yep. Yep, so this blocks for a turn. I think I am just going to demonic for swords in case they get their own blightsteel. I don't think there's anything else that they can get. So if they have Tinker Blightsteel here, I have it answered. And if they do anything else, I don't think I care. Also, because they can't combo off. Hercules is not better because they could do. They could have like Tinker Blightsteel Sphere, right? There's no bridge in that deck. No, maybe there should be a bridge, but that went pretty well. This Karn was a menace, though. It was actually way closer than I thought it was going to be because of this Karn. But the real key in this game is that like opponent has just one answer to this Blightsteel. It's just put another Blightsteel in play because they don't have the option of like KCI comboing. Because the KCI combo deck does need to draw cards. And Narset is just insane at stopping that. Welcome, chat and YouTube. I lost the die roll, but it is the finals of another Lotus Box Octagon. We're up against Gavin, a very powerful wizard. Gavin is playing an Orzhov Humans deck, so 4 Archon, 4 Revoker, 3 Booters, Loomies, 3 Thalias with 4 Caverns, some Luris, some main deck Opposition Agent. Got some Luris package going with Spell Bombs and Lanterns. Main deck Deafening Silences. And then a bunch of removal with Deadweight and Swords of Plowshare. So a very, very interesting list. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I just haven't seen one like it. So I'm very interested to see how it plays out. It's got a lot of very strong cards against me. Thalia, Revoker, Archon, and Deafening Silence, to name a few. So our hand here is fine. Definitely a hand that I'm going to keep. I have a Mentor, I have a Tinker, I have mana, so I'm going to keep it, but it could definitely go very poorly. All right, starting hand has Sapphire, Emerald, Archon. Oh god, it's Opposition Agent. All right, if there was no Archon and they kept this hand, it has to mean Opposition Agent, and we have all kinds of fetches that we need to play around here. Not ideal. So we definitely don't want to crack this fetch until they cast their Opposition Agent. And we're definitely not going to be able to Tinker in this game either, so... It's 100% Opposition Agent, yeah. This is going to be an extremely hard game to win, because I can't fetch for a white source, because I'll get Wastelanded. I'm so dead, chat. I needed to have a Force of Will in this deck. I guess I can draw a Force of Will off of this Gataxian Probe. If I draw Force of Will, I might be able to win this game. Drew a top. At least this will, like, bait them into naming top off of Revoker instead of Emerald. My opponent is set... Oh. They're just going to hold open the Opposition Agent? Oh, they're going to Wasteland and crack? Okay. I'm just going to let this die then. This is giving me more time to draw Force of Will. If my opponent casts Opposition Agent here... Wait, what the fuck? They're capping out? I don't like the way my opponent played this game. Hope they name top. If they name top, I can backdoor into Mox Tinker. I didn't activate my top because I want them to name top. Okay. I have out tier. I'm looking for Force of Will or mana. At the very least, I can fetch an island here. At least I have mana to work with. I could Hercules for them, but it doesn't really do anything. So I would rather just repeal my Mox, I think. Where does that get me? What if I Hercules them? Maybe you just want to Hercules them and kind of time walk them? I want to draw Force, though. Or a Lotus? This does let me play Mentor. I didn't think I had any chance of winning this game, but the lines my opponent took give us a shot. Yeah, I think we have a shot. We could even draw Mox and Pio. I think we just win. I actually do think if opponent had just cast opposition agent, we probably lost, but I'll take it. It's hard to know from my opponent's side of the table. It's really hard to know because like maybe the fetch is super important and but and they have the ability to wasteland and make me lose it anyways, so I can definitely see where they're coming from. They didn't have to play Revoker though. They could have just kept holding up agent. We never drew Force, so we never would have been able to counter the agent. It's a really interesting game, actually. I would love to watch it from Gavin's side. I'm gonna make sure that I go back and watch Anurag's coverage of this when he casts it, because I believe we'll be able to see Well, we won't be able to see. I mean, we knew what Gavin's hand basically was. So I don't know if there's anything more, but maybe we'll just see what they think. Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'll take it. We'll take those. So sideboard opponent is going to bring in Mind Break traps, 2 Mind Break traps. Can I get some exclamation mark MBTs and some I am act MBTs in chat, please? And maybe Bitter Ordeals. I don't know, Bitter Ordeal maybe. And a Seal of Cleansing. It looks like. Opponent has 4 Swords to Plowshares. I'm not really sure I'm supposed to bring in a Blightsteel Colossus. Excuse me. I'm definitely looking at Caracas, Swords, Deluge, Disenchant for the Deafening Silence, and maybe Blightsteel. And then we're going to be boarding out Mental Misstep, Flusterstorm, Hercule's Recall, and Narset. I think Blightsteel's a fine board in. This looks good. I mean, like I said, I built this deck to be very, very anti-creature. I have a board wipe in the sideboard, multiple swords, and a balance in the main. So I am prepared for this matchup. It is a little annoying to play against a Deafening Silences, but we even have a Disenchant to bring in. I think that Tabernacle is not good. I've never actually liked Tabernacle against creature decks. I've only found Tabernacle to be good against Dredge. No one really goes wide enough. Let's submit. I don't think. I also don't think interacting with their graveyard, even though they're a Lurrus deck, is good at all. Don't bother. Don't get tunnel visioned on how the banned cat. Focus on what you have here. And this is a keep. This is a keep. Obviously, this hand is rough against Cavern, but this fetches Island probably. Soul Ring into a repeal. Yeah, maybe I can actually fetch an Underground Sea depending on what's happening. It's not a strong hand, but it's a reasonable hand to keep. I don't think I'm ever allowed to force this Jet. If it was something stronger, then maybe we could. But we're going to get Cavern Thaliad here. And oh, no, it's a freebooter. That's fine. Oh, it's a Dark Confidant. Okay, that's fine. If it was a Thalia, I would have been very sad. But a Dark Confidant is not a big deal. If we draw a Moxen, we can actually repeal the Dark Confidant as well. We did not draw the Moxen, but we did draw an island, which we can use to cast our Soul Ring, which is really, really strong, so that we still can cast Night Whisper. We do have to worry about Cavern on Thalia, but thankfully we don't have to worry about Caverned Archon, which is a huge problem. I guess they do have Caverned Opposition Agent, which we need to be aware of. That would be annoying, I guess. Revoker. I do think I have to counter that. Looking to repeal this Bob, I think, is the plan. Gonna slow them down a bit. It's gonna give us an extra draw, another island, sure. I guess we're actually pretty good against Thalia because we had a Caracas in our hand. I wasn't really thinking that far ahead. Obviously. We actually have Snap Repeal if they decide to just replay a Bob here, which is quite strong. Oh, free booty. Okay. Nice Whisper down, but we could Snap Repeal this as well. Just keep time walking them and while drawing cards. It's pretty sweet. Booty, booty, booty. Rock. Oh, they have Bob follow-up as well. Oh no, they have a Revoker. Wow, that's quite good. That's quite good. Yeah, a second Revoker is annoying there for sure. I'd love like a Balance here. Or a Deluge. Didn't get there. I do have Snap Repeal a Jet. If they want to attack with this Revoker. I'm probably Snap Repealing the Jet no matter what at the end of turn, so... Like, they can't swing with this Revoker. That makes sense. They go for one. Yeah, they know I have a Snapcaster, though, because they free bootied. I knew that's really bad. Cavern on Archon here is not something we wanted to see. This is a Bob. Do they also have an Archon is the question. They do. They do have an Archon. So I actually don't know if I'm allowed to play Snapcaster Mage now. The reason is I can't draw Balance. I think I want to have my out of Balance and Deluge. But I want to draw a card. Maybe it's fine. I think it's fine. Also get a lot of value from them not being able to play it again. All right, I haven't drawn anything that does anything, chat. That's unfortunate, isn't it? I don't actually have to pay anything for this. I've certainly haven't drawn a single card this game. But we have outs. Deluge is quite good here. We have time as well. 5 turns. Oh, deafening silence as well. That's annoying. I still think a deluge is still going to be quite good. Yeah, okay. I drew another. I mean, that is PO. They have a swords to plowshares. Okay, so I go up to 14. I go down to 7. Oh, they hit my deluge. I can still draw balance though. I have no more underground seas, so I cannot deluge. Oh, they're gonna just not attack with everything, not swords to play around balance. Very nice. Oh no, here they come in with everything. Okay, they are gonna swords, so I can draw balance. I drew Knight's Whisper. 2, 4, 6, 7, 19. Okay. Yeah, I just drew nothing there. I actually cast 2 repeals as well. I just didn't get it there. Not much I can do about that. I think we just run it back. That is one of the problems with PO. You have a lot of dead draws, though we did draw a lot of lands. We do have to be mindful of Mindbreak Trap, but we do want a powerful turn 1 play. And we're going to be on the play, so we have a lot of opportunities. Winning game 1 very, very important in this kind of matchup. Very winnable, very winnable. How about just like land, mana crypt, tinker? How about that? Yeah, this looks good. Also have repeal for a 2-drop. That's not a Thalia, I guess. Definitely willing to keep this. Don't get trapped. See what they've got for us. I think if they don't do anything that we can repeal, I would be interested in brainstorming. Okay, don't care about that card at all. All right, so I do think that I'm going to brainstorm. Obviously, we only get to put away 1 card. Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one, chat. That is the one. So what I want to do is put away land, and then we're gonna tinker, and we're actually gonna go Citadel because they do play Swords of Plowshares in their deck. We should be able to combo through a Mindbreak Trap, no problem. PO. So I'm gonna do this, this, this. Okay. Draw. Mystical. Time Walk. Time Walk. Ruby. Emerald. Mana Vault. Crypt. Opal. PO. Lotus. Mox goes up. Mox come down. 3 Lotus box. Octagon wins. Let's go. 4 octagons, 3 trophies. Woo-hoo-hoo! You'll love to see it. It looks like it bodes pretty well for tomorrow's event as well. I love these. These octagons are great. Keep them coming. 3 times. A weekly Justin donation tournament. Man. Crazy, crazy, crazy.